Hello students, welcome once again to class 11 education class, and in the previous class we were dealing with the first chapter, that is concept of education, isn't it? So today also we will be continuing with the same topic, and in the last class students we have tried to understand why education is important, isn't it? And then we also understood about the meaning of education, right? And then we also tried to make some comparisons between Western philosophers and Indian philosophers and how they defined the term education, isn't it? So today in this class we will be dealing with the different concepts of education, and then we will also understand the process of education, the meaning of education, and then we will also try to understand nature of education, scope of education, and lastly why education is a necessity in life. Okay, so today's portion starts from page 20 of your textbook. If you are here with me with the textbook, let us start the lesson. So what are the different concepts of education? Here in the textbook they have given 7 concepts of education, isn't it? So let us try to understand them one by one. So the first one is that education is a process. So when we say process, we must understand education like a kind of journey. So you're born into this world, you go to nursery, and then you go to high school, and now you are in class 11, 12, the higher secondary section of your schooling, isn't it? Then you'll go and attend college and university. So it is a step-by-step process and a journey, isn't it? So that is the first concept of education. Okay, so the next one is that education leads to harmonious development. So what is harmonious development? In an individual or a human being, we have the mental aspects, the social aspects of life, the emotional aspects, right? And the physical aspect and intellectual aspects also, right? That means to do with the body, the mind, the soul, the thinking process, the feelings, right? So all these feelings of the human being or the changes of the human being are blended together perfectly by getting proper education. So that is mean by harmonious development. Okay, and the next one is individual adjustment. So education leads to individual adjustment. So what is individual adjustment? According to science also and according to psychologists also, we know that each individual is unique and different from the other, right? So how do we adjust with the different people, the different personalities in this world? Through proper education. Okay, and then it is also dynamic. What do you mean by dynamic? Dynamic means it is always happening. It might be slow, the progress might be very fast for some people, it might be slow for some people, but it is always happening. It is a continuous process, we can say. Okay, the next one is that education is purposeful. So what do you mean by purposeful? We all go to school and college with some purpose or aim in life, isn't it? So that is mean by education as a purposeful aspect. Okay, and the last one is education is both a science and an art. Okay, so what do you mean by education as a science and art? Here science would mean we all know that education involves some kind of psychological understanding also, isn't it? So psychologists and theories, they go through different scientific process to come up with new theories, isn't it? That means they're following scientific steps, isn't it? So that is why it is a science. And why an art? Education itself is life. We are trying to understand the human life, isn't it? So that is why it is an art. So education is both a science and an art. Okay, so that is the different concepts or understanding about education. Now let us go into the process of education. So the process of education goes through three different processes. Okay, so what is the first one? The first one is single or unipolar process. So what is single or unipolar? This one is derived from the ancient Indian system of education. During the ancient times, there were the gurukuls, isn't it? The gurukuls were the schools, and then in the gurukuls, the gurus were the most important person, isn't it? The guru is the teacher. That means in single or unipolar process of education, the guru or the teacher is given more importance. Okay, if you look into the second process of education, that is bipolar process. So what do you mean by bi? Here the word bi would mean two, isn't it? So the process of education involves two individuals. Now who are the two individuals? One is the teacher and the other one is the student. So if we the teachers, even if we are teaching, if there's no student, then to whom will we teach, isn't it? And for you students also, if you go to school and if there's no teacher, then from where will you get the knowledge and the understanding, right? So both the teacher and the student is equally important in the process of education. Okay, now the third and the most important process of education is the tripolar process of education. This one was given by the famous educationist John Dewey. Okay, so what do you mean by tripolar? Tri here, the word tri would mean three, isn't it? So here in the tripolar process of education, education is understood as a triangle. Okay, so in the triangle, one is the teacher and the other one is the student, like in the bipolar process. And here in the tripolar, the third one is the society. So both the teacher and the students, they live in the society, isn't it? So society is the environment around us, right? So society also equally contributes to the process of education, and this was given by John Dewey. Okay, so tripolar process of education is very relevant in today's system of education. Okay, so those are the three processes of education. Now let us come into the meaning of education. Here the meaning of education has two aspects. One is the narrow meaning of education, and the next one is the broad meaning of education. Okay, so what do you mean by the narrow meaning of education? Narrow meaning would mean getting education for diplomas, degrees or certificates. That means you go to school, you attend school for the whole year and you give exams, isn't it? And then results are given to you whether you have performed well or not, isn't that? So it is result oriented or degree oriented, we can say. That means only one aspect of education, that means very narrow, isn't that? And the second meaning of education is the broad process of education. So what do you mean by broad? Suppose if there is a road, then if we say a broad road, that means the road is very big, right? So in the broad meaning of education, we understand that education is a lifelong process. Education continues all throughout life, and the things that we learn at home, the things that we learn in the school or college, or the life itself, all those are education. That means all the things are involved. Okay, so the broader meaning of education is more relevant. Okay, so those are the meaning of education, the narrow meaning of education and the broad meaning of education. Okay, now coming to the nature of education. In the textbook, they have given 9 natures of education, isn't it? So let us try to understand what are the nature of education. So the first one is that education is a lifelong process. So this is connected with the broad meaning of education, isn't it? Whatever that we learn in life, whatever that we learn from our parents or teachers or friends or the society, all those are lifelong. And we also know that man is a social being, isn't it? We cannot survive alone. That is why education is a lifelong process. Okay, and then education is also systematic in nature. Why is it systematic? Suppose you are in class 11, so we will not give you concepts or knowledge or things that are college level, but the right age is observed, and then things are given to you, knowledge is given to you, right? So it is very systematic, and then you go to high school first, then you go to higher secondary, then you attend college, isn't that? So it is a very systematic process, we can see. And then the next one is that education leads to development of the individual. When we go to school or college, there is some kind of development taking place in us, isn't it? You can, observe it by yourself also. So after the development is happening in the individual, it leads to development of the society. How development of the society? Because individuals live in society, isn't it? So if the individuals are educated, then definitely the society will also improve, right? So that is another nature of education. Now, if we look into the next nature of education, education is modification of behavior. So what is modification of behavior? We all, when we're born into this world, we have certain animal instincts, or we don't know much about life, right? But as we grow in life, as we try to attain education, that is how modification or changes occur in our life and our behavior, isn't it? So that is meant by modification of behavior. And then in the educational process, training and instruction is involved. So what is training and instruction? So the teacher or the instructor will give you some kind of training or ideas or knowledge, isn't it? So that is another nature of education. And we also say that education is life itself. Life itself is a teacher, and there are so many things that life teaches us, right? So education is life. And then another nature of education can be continuous restructuring of experiences. That means whatever experiences that we gain in life, all those are education and learning, we can say that. And then lastly, we can say that education is power and treasure. So when we get educated, when we get degrees, when we get a lot of knowledge, then we understand life better, isn't it? And the degrees, the things that you have gained for yourself, no one will be able to take it away from you, isn't it? So that is why education is power and treasure. So those are the 9 natures of education. Okay, so now next, let us look into the scope of education. If you look into the textbook, they have given the meanings, the process, the nature, and the scope. So you as a student, while you're reading the textbook or you're trying to understand the concept, you must be able to differentiate between all these things. Okay, so what do you mean by scope of education? Scope of education would mean the opportunities that are available in the field of education, we can say. Okay, so the first scope is that educational philosophy. So what is educational philosophy? Educational philosophy means we try to frame the curriculum, we try to understand the nature and the meaning of education, and that is how the right kind of education can be imparted to the learners, isn't it? So that is educational philosophy. The next one is educational psychology. So you will be dealing with this in detail in your class 12. Okay, there is a certain separate chapter for this. Okay, so what is educational psychology? Education involves the human being, the child, isn't it? So in order to understand education, we must understand the mind of the child, the psychology of the child, isn't it? That is why educational psychology is also important. Okay, the next one is educational sociology. So what do you mean by sociology? So we individuals, we as human beings, we all live in a society, isn't it? So in trying to understand education, we must also not forget about society. So educational psychology is important. Okay, the next one is method of teaching. So why is method of teaching important in education? Because for children there are a different kind of method for teaching, isn't it? And for you adults, we teach you in a different style, right? And then when you will be entering college and university, again the teaching style will change, isn't it? So that is method of teaching according to the right knowledge, understanding and age of the student. Okay, and then history of education. So now, why is history important? History is important because we must understand how education has happened in the past, right? So we will take all the good things from the past and do away with the wrongful things about education, right? For example, in the Gurukul system of education, the guru or the teacher was given more importance, right? But right now, in the present scenario, you, the students, you are more important than the teacher, isn't it? So that is why, in order to develop the present system of education, we need to understand the history of education, the past things that have happened in the field of education. Okay, so the next one is economics of education. So now, how is economics and education related? When we say economics, then it is to do with the business, right? Or after attending school and college, you will become skilled in some areas, isn't it? And then the companies will also employ you, right? The government will also want to employ you, isn't it? So by getting educated and becoming skilled, we contribute to the country, to the economy of the country, isn't it? So illiterate people or people who don't know anything will not be able to contribute to the economy, isn't it? So education and economics are also related with one another. Okay, and then in scope of education, we also try to understand the problems that are there in education. So what are some of the problems that India face in the field of education? The poor people, the child laborers, they are not able to get proper education, right? So policymakers and teachers and educationists, they will try to understand the problems of education so that those problems and those things are not repeated again. Okay, and the next one is population education. So what is population education? We the human beings, we are categorized into different population groups, isn't it? So when there is overpopulation, then the purpose of education will also not be fulfilled. There will be less schools and more population, right? So there has to be a balance, isn't it? Overpopulation will not be good for our society, right? So that is why we need to understand population in education also. Okay, the last one is environmental education. So now, what is environmental education? Right now, you must be aware that we face a lot of environmental imbalance in our environment, isn't it? That is because of human activities, right? So in education, we also need to teach about the environment, the sensitivity of the environment, so that there is a perfect balance. Okay, so all those were the scope of education, the 9 scopes of education. When we come into the last topic that is there in your lesson, that is education, necessity of life. So why is education a necessity for life? Some of the reasons can be education helps us to live better lives, isn't it? And then the kind of human needs are also understood through education, right? And then we also develop a proper attitude towards life, isn't that? And then we all know that man is the father of civilization, right? So we are a little different from the birds, the animals and the plants, right? How are we different? Because we get education, we get knowledge, right? So that is why education is a necessity of life for human beings. Okay, and then something new every day. So education teaches us something new every day, right? So that is how we are able to inculcate that in our life. And then greatest contribution of education is it makes life prosperous, and human beings also become cultured and civilized. We don't behave like animals, we don't behave in a barbaric manner, but we become more civilized through education. So that is the end of the lesson. Today you have learned about the different concepts of education, the process of education. You have also understood the meaning of education, the nature of education, the scope of education, and why education is a necessity in our life. So that is the end of the lesson. I'll see you soon with a new session. Thank you.